Hey everybody, welcome to The Well. This is the show where we do what you do, and we're going to take you on that journey to see how we've developed our financial advisory practice as digital marketers turned financial advisors.
All right, well, welcome. Episode 4, seminar replay, and we're in the December story here.
Yeah, December was it was a fun one. Right before Christmas, a few weeks before Christmas.
I love Christmas.
Why do you love Christmas, Rich?
I mean, what do you not love about Christmas?
I like a lot of things about Christmas. There's a lot of like consumerism that I don't love, but
I love it all. I want the lights, I want the trees, I want the colors, I want the crafts, I want the cookies, I want the presents.
I don't like decorating.
My birthday is also December 24th.
Yeah.
Notice I did not call it what everybody else calls it because they're wrong.
That's right. It's Richie's birthday, not Christmas Eve.
That's right. So I love it. I love everything about it. We go all out on Christmas. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, man, December 6th seminar. Mm-hmm. It's our third one.
Yeah.
We're going to knock it out of the park.
You know my favorite part about Christmas?
What's that?
Christmas Adam.
Who?
Christmas Adam.
Okay.
It's December 23rd.
Okay.
It's the day before Christmas Eve.
Okay. Nope. The day before my birthday.
My kids hate it every year. I'm like, hey, it's Christmas Adam. Let's celebrate Christmas Adam. And they think it's stupid.
Gotcha. It's such a dad joke.
It is a dad joke.
I didn't even catch it. It was such a dad joke.
Hey, Christmas Adam.
Okay.
It's December 23rd.
Well, all I know is we just came off of De Pupo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is December 6th, and we're thinking we got it now.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Yeah, we had it in the bag.
How much business did we write off of the last event?
$0.
Okay, $0.
Yeah, we had one from that event. We had like one promising appointment, and I think the deal was, I don't remember exactly, but like his mother-in-law was moving in or going into assisted living or something like that. There was some
likely story.
Yeah, something that was in the way, and then of course Thanksgiving was right there. Running in November and December is tough with the holidays for appointments because appointments get bounced around quite a bit during that time period. And we experienced that specifically after the November event with that particular client or prospect, I should say. And it was discouraging for sure because, a tough event where we didn't really expect a whole lot.
Yep.
And the one good opportunity that we had just never came together.
Yeah. Well, and we also don't have an office. At this point, we don't have a process at this point.
Right.
So we're still wobbly legs. So the first two were the last couple episodes. If you haven't watched those yet, go back and watch them.
Yeah.
We covered those, and then so now we're in December. So we decided we don't need to really do anything new as far as a venue. Let's go back to the first one that worked.
Yep. Yeah. We went back to Noblesville, right? Yeah.
Noblesville. Yeah.
Yep. Stone Creek and Noblesville. We went back to the same room in Noblesville.
The one upstairs, if I remember right.
Yep. It was the one upstairs, which we've gotten some hate for that, but I don't mind it.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that. I do feel there's only been a couple that I actually feel like I feel kind of bad.
Yeah. Because
they're just very sweet, nice people, and they just couldn't get up the stairs. But it's honestly saved us also from.
Yeah.
Because so actually I think it was definitely at this event. It was at lunch.
Yeah.
And there were two ladies that were only there for the food. Mm-hmm. And how do I know that? I'm not assuming that. They told me that.
Yeah.
They did not want to come up to our room. They're not going up those stairs, but they made it all that way, and they demanded food.
Yeah.
So we sat them at a table downstairs at that one. Remember that?
Yep. And they wanted to order off the regular menu for the restaurant. And fortunately, the manager and the servers at that particular venue.
Yeah, they're the best.
They're the best. They're locked in with us. We are their client in that scenario. And they came to us and said, hey, they want to order off menu. No, they can order what's being provided to we already are going to pay for the food no matter what. They can have something off of the menu that we've provided, and that's that. So, we did kind of plant our flag there with those two folks.
I don't mind playing hardball with some people that do that, but I said it last episode. I'll say it this episode, and probably another time is protect your mindset. Mm-hmm. Somebody comes in and they're only there for your food. Okay, it's not great. It's literally taking money out of your pocket, and they don't even care.
Right.
And you can let that get to you, or you can just move on. Yeah. Just move on. You've already got a minimum on the restaurant. So most of the time you're paying for that anyways.
Right.
So just do it and move on. So
but you're right. Subplot on those two though.
Yeah.
They came back. Do you remember they come back in, so we won't go into all the detail necessarily, but I can't remember what month that was, probably February or March. We were at that same venue again, and they came back, and they actually made it up the stairs that time.
Because we were in the middle of the presentation.
Right in the middle of the presentation.
Yeah.
While I'm talking, and and they ate our food again, and
then left.
And then they left.
No point.
So that was that. But yep, that's those two were an interesting couple.
Yep. So let me look at my notes. We got 5 people working this one.
Yep.
Because we're all still pretty excited. So you, me, Hannah, my wife, Crystal, your wife, and Paul, who helps us. You know, he's a licensed agent with us as well and helps us with the event. So we have 5 of us working the rooms.
Yep.
I remember at that lunch, really good lunch, really good, like nice crowd. I think that's where I got called a tall drink of water. If I remember right.
Probably.
Yeah. And so I said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want an appointment?
Going back to that same lunch, that was the event, and we'll get into more detail with it later. But that was the one where the gal who commented on my tattoos and saying that, you know, she was turned off by it. That was the lunch where she attended and later on said that she appreciated that we kind of broke that down.
Let's talk about that for a second.
We did in the last episode.
Yeah, I know, but let's mention it again.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because it is something where if it's, you're right that we did, but it's so important. So it's so important. Every time we get on a call with anybody who we're coaching through a seminar, you've got to nail the things you're not comfortable about.
Right.
And just be honest about it. And I'm not saying you're not comfortable with your tattoo. You're obviously confident it's all good, but you know that they are maybe thinking it.
Yeah.
And it's not everybody, but it's always a couple. And so you're right. This lady didn't say it at the seminar, but when we met with her at the appointment, she said, "Yeah, I almost didn't come here." We're like, "Well, why not?" She goes, "Well, I saw your tattoos and I just wasn't sure."
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So great job because we won her over, which is the whole point. Like first impressions are important, but the seminar we always say is you're getting to know us. The first appointment is where we're getting to know you. And so if you do a good enough job letting them see who you actually are as a person in the seminar, you will overcome objections like tattoos or stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. Handle the objections that are known before they become objections. Just get them out of the way.
Get them out of the way right up front.
We'll probably reiterate that through a bunch of episodes because there's a lot of...
It's a difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, people come to the seminar to figure out whether or not they want to trust you.
Yep.
You know, people don't buy from you because you have the best product. They don't buy from you because whatever. They buy from you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. Those are the 3 reasons they buy from you. And if you don't establish a pretty strong affinity right out of the gate with them, any little objection that they can find, a beard, a tattoo, a shoe, a shirt, it doesn't matter. They're looking for reasons to not trust you, not like you, and not do business with you. So, keep handling those objections before they become a problem. But so we had 5 working there.
Yep.
We did rework the presentation to incorporate a few things that we had learned from the first 3 sessions, 2 seminars. We did add a little bit more emphasis on our process because we identified that we didn't have a sales process. We've talked about that in previous episodes where we didn't really have any kind of sales process. So Richy had the idea, I think, to basically break it into a 3-part process, which has worked really well.
Yeah, which I know a lot of you guys already have a similar setup. You just don't call it step 1, 2, 3, whatever. And so we're just kind of really diving into like what is our process and how do we take people through that, and how do we get them to come back, right? Because if you just kind of at the end of your seminar say come to an appointment, it doesn't feel like a process. You know, as humans, if you get into like the marketing mindset and the psychology of marketing, people don't want to stop what they've started. That's why you go to a page and a lot of times you see a ribbon that says 50% complete. Well, that's because, I want to be 100% complete. I don't want to stop at 50. So that's essentially where the mind was at and trying to think through this. So what we decided to do on this seminar, and still to this day, I mean, we've not given up on it because it's been excellent, is the seminars part 1. And I actually went with part because of PlanWise. That's our brand that we use. It has PP.
Right. So there you go.
I went with it.
Alliteration, baby.
Yep. Instead of S or whatever, it's like a classic like sermon. You got to have the 3 Ps, So we went part 1, part 2, and part 3. And so part 1 is the seminar. Part 2 is the first appointment. That's essentially where we do the analysis. We get to know, the people one-on-one, again, get to know them. And then part 3 is the recommendations. So I know you guys are doing something similar to that.
No, part 3 is not the recommendations.
Part 3.
It's the magic.
The magic. There is a little magic.
The magic.
That little Salt Bay.
That's right.
And yes, we do put that on the screen, and no, nobody ever knows what it is.
Yeah, but it's another icebreaker. And when we get to part 3, we always throw it up on the screen again.
And they always giggle, too.
And they always giggle. They're like, oh, I remember now. Ha, ha, ha.
It's a little personality.
Yeah.
What we do is like the Salt Bay puts this, salt on the steak makes it taste good. This is the magic on your retirement. So it makes retirement good.
Yeah.
It's the magic of it.
Yeah, maybe we can throw Salt Bay up on the podcast video here. If you're watching this on video, maybe there'll be a Salt Bay, a little salt,
salt over here.
But I think that kind of goes back to the being authentic and handling objections and like creating a little humor. I stand by something that we said when we first developed our presentation. I think advisors way overcomplicate what they're going to present.
Oh, for sure.
Way overcomplicate it. They go into all these charts and graphs and like they're trying to make themselves seem so smart and so high above the people in the room. And there's some value to being regarded as extremely credible when it comes to your subject matter. But at the same time, you again, know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
If they get to know you a little bit, they like your personality and they trust that what you're saying is true.
Right.
It doesn't. You could talk about purple seals. They don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. You just have to convey the information that's important for them to hear in a likable and trustable way.
Genuine.
And yeah, you gotta be genuine and authentic and tell personal stories and make jokes and kind of poke fun at yourself and maybe poke fun at some of the people in the room even a little bit. Just, do it, because that authenticity is what gets people to request an appointment and then ultimately to buy from you.
Yeah, throw some personality in there. Yeah. Even if it feels a little weird, maybe throw a little joke. I always open it with that joke. I think I already talked about it in a previous episode, but throw a little joke in there, even if it feels a little weird. Salt Bay, nobody ever knows what it is. It feels a little weird, but it also adds personality, so we use it. Yeah. So yeah, really, really important there. So the 3-part process was money, because everybody here is in part 1 right now.
Right.
And you're not here to take 2 hours out of your day for free food. You're here because there's something in your mind that you need help with. So have that in your head in part 1. And then in part 2, we're going to discuss it and really learn what that is so that in part 3, we can solve that problem for you.
I want to back up just a second, because you said something just now that you say in the seminar that I think is incredibly valuable. Nobody takes 2 hours out of their day just to eat free food. Obviously, that's not true. Right. We know that people do that. And unfortunately, people do that often. But I think what that's done is kind of mitigated some of the flagrancy and some of the pity appointments too. Because sometimes, and if you're doing seminars, you've seen it. People will set an appointment out of obligation. Like, well, I just took this guy's food, I should probably set an appointment. But then they don't actually show up. They waste your time after the fact. And quite frankly, I don't want those appointments even set. I would rather have a 40% appointment ratio where 80% of those people stick than a 90% appointment ratio where only 40% of them stick. Because your staff and you are wasting a lot of time chasing down those people that are setting pity appointments.
Right.
And part of that kind of dovetails into the other thing that we did in December, where we got a little bit more specific with, as it relates to the process, what we're going to do in that process. We managed the expectations really, really well.
Yep.
Because if you've done any kind of seminar marketing and you work with digital marketers, or even if you work with a mail house, you've probably heard that Social Security pulls really well. It does. It matters to everybody. It's something that I don't care if you have $5 million or $5. You care about your Social Security. So it does attract a broad audience. The problem is,
it attracts a broad audience.
It attracts a broad audience, and then what you end up doing is having 10 or 15 appointments, and 7 or 8 of them only want a Social Security report.
Right.
So what Richy developed the process, and I said, hey, I'm gonna focus in on that process as I go through my content more, and specifically as it relates to Social Security, I am going to discourage people from setting an appointment just for Social Security, because I'll run a Social Security report to help people out. I'll do that. But I don't want that to be the only reason that people are setting an appointment with us.
Right. It's a value add. It's not the value. It's not the value.
Right. So what I do now, started then, have continued to do it, is say, hey, if you have specific, I talk about Social Security and say things like, if you've already claimed Social Security, been on it for 12 months, there's not a lot we can do for you there. But if you've not been on it for more than 12 months, or if you haven't claimed yet, that's something that we can definitely address for you in part 3.
Yep.
Part 1 is this. Part 2 is the analysis, where we get to know you, we understand your financial situation, we gather statements from you, etc. I kind of describe that process again and say, and then, if appropriate, we'll go on to part 3, where we'll do a deep dive and make recommendations and address your Social Security questions. Yep. So what that does is kind of reduces the pressure on us to do a bunch of Social Security reports for people that don't have any assets. Again, if somebody comes in and still schedules an appointment and all they have is Social Security, I'll still run the report. Again, protecting mindset there. I'm not going to just turn people away because they don't have any assets, but I'm trying to mitigate some of those lower quality appointments from happening in the first place.
Also, what you're doing there is letting everybody know they have to come to step 3 to get anything.
Yeah.
Part 3, excuse me.
Yeah, part 3.
Yeah, they got to come to part 3. So you're not going to just attend the seminar and get a report. We're not going to just email it to you. Right. You know, you're going to have to go through a process in order to get it. So throughout the seminar, you've always done a great job with that. It's like, hey, you're here, great. Part 3 is where you get it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the goal. And we want people to buy into the process. And like you said, people like to finish what they start. So you're in part 1 now, get to part 2. And people are generally pretty excited to get to part 3. At the beginning of part 2, in that first appointment, one of the things we do is kind of set the stage and say, what we're going to do today is X, Y, and Z. Here's the agenda. Here's blah, blah, blah. And if it's appropriate, at the end of this meeting, we'll schedule a part 3.
Right.
And they all want that. Now it's not like a oh, it's an obligation. It's do I qualify to get part 3?
Right. Yeah. And exactly. That's a good word. Qualify.
And we kind of try to tease that along because sometimes, frankly, they don't.
Yep.
And we have to send them a goodbye email after they've come in for part 2. So,
yep. The other thing we did is the last seminar we did add a 5-minute video at the end of it, and it wasn't even the end of it. It's basically like, you know, I do my thing, you do your thing, 5-minute video, and we come back up and close it. Mm-hmm. But I remember the first time we did it, it was like, you know, okay, here's a water break, 5-minute video. So we didn't really do anything, and it didn't create any action. Mm-hmm. So for this one, we said, let's really be smarter about that. Let's optimize that time. So what we did is just tell everybody, if you're the type of person that likes to get ahead of the line, because everybody here is going to want an appointment. Obviously, we have a lunch and we've got a dinner, and our calendars are going to be really full. So pick 2 times on your sheet, first of all. That way we can select the one that's going to work for everybody, that kind of thing. And then if you want to get ahead of that line and not wait, use this 5 minutes. This is where you fill out your blue sheets. This is where, you know, get aggressive, wave us down, come up, we'll take care of it, we'll get you scheduled. So we were much more intentional about that 5-minute period. And I would say we typically get, I don't know, 20% of our appointments probably in that 5-minute time frame. Yeah.
Because I mean, there's people by then that have begun to know you, like you, and trust you that have already decided, hey, I'm meeting with you.
Yeah.
And we even you kind of say that, I think, or actually I say it now. Yeah. But it's kind of like, hey, if you've already made the decision, you already know you're going to meet with us,
do it.
This is the time. Yeah. Like, and Richy says, you know, flag us down, whatever. So yeah, that has been helpful. And it takes a little pressure off the staff too, because, you know, Crystal or Paul or Hannah, all 3 of them are there sometimes. Sometimes it's only one of them. And it's been helpful to get some of those kind of easy ones out of the way and just go ahead and get them scheduled and give them back their thing. And honestly, it's a great time for people to run to the bathroom if they need to.
Yeah. Go to the bathroom, get your water, whatever, if you need to. But use this time wisely.
Yep.
So real quick, how did it go? Let's do some stats real quick. We had 41 household units register.
Yep.
So was it the last time before the last at the same venue? We had 70, I think.
Yeah.
So a little bit lower, obviously, in December. We had 21 household units attend. So again, we're at 51.22% attendance. Yep. Which, if you talk to us at RA, we're going to tell you 50% attendance. I mean, if you do everything, 50%. Now, as this series goes on, you're going to see like our average actually increases quite a bit there. We're more at like 61, 62% right now, which not doing anything extra, just doing it good and doing it correctly every single time.
Doing well.
Yeah. Okay. So we booked 10 appointments at this event. All 10. Wow, I forgot about that. All 10 indicated over 300K in assets.
Yeah, this was easily, and we've said we're not going to do December again, but every time I relook at these notes, I'm like, maybe we should do December again.
I know.
Easily our highest converting 2 appointments, because we were almost at 50% in appointment requests, and the quality was outstanding.
Yes.
Outstanding.
It
10
really
out
was.
of 10.
Lunch and dinner.
Both of them. Yeah. 10 out of 10. On our appointment sheet, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but on our appointment sheet, we asked them to indicate how much they have in assets. And we have less than 100,000. We have 100 to 300,000, and we have 300,000 plus.
We'll bring one in next episode, kind of show.
And every single one of those checked the 300 plus mark on their blue sheet, which was outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Talk about quality.
Yeah.
From Facebook advertising, just going through the motions, all 10. It was like, wow. But, you know, it's December 6th.
It's December 6th.
And for us being our 3rd event, we don't have an office. We still don't have like our ducks in a row.
Right.
So we did close one client.
We did. I would say, backing up just a second, we had a defined process,
right? The step,
but
1,
we
2,
had
3.
not practiced that process yet.
Correct.
So we had figured out what we wanted to do. We just hadn't done it, and I think that's probably what cost us some opportunities from that event. But yeah, we did. I think the bigger issue, we talked about it last episode, but we didn't, I don't think we had actually instituted it yet. We didn't have a really clear defined, like, hey, we only allow appointments in the next 10 days or whatever. Mm-hmm. And because of Christmas, we also didn't have that same kind of cadence for post part 2. So what we ran into was a lot of appointments that came in for the first appointment came in and we started and got their information. But by the time they had come in, now to schedule their part 3, we were right up against Christmas or even during the week of Christmas and New Year. And just we lost probably, we lost almost everybody. We only got one out of that because of the holidays, I think. I think that was a big factor.
It definitely was. I know that we had anticipated it because since 2014 doing this, we know that December can be a little tricky when it comes to the holiday season, November, December. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret.
Right.
But for us, we're like strategically, we make it really early December because you and I were thinking we have 2-3 weeks to close people, which, come on.
Silly, Billy.
It's silly. Like, sure, you're going to close somebody in your first appointment every now and then or whatever. But most of the time, keep it real. Like, we're not going to. So we were kind of bright-eyed there. So we had people, we had good quality event. I wouldn't say we would never do one in December again.
Yeah.
But we're not going to this year.
Right. Yeah, we're not going to do it this year. I think our last one will be in November.
Yep.
That gives us the time to kind of figure things out and honestly do some client meetings in December.
Right. You guys, again, we're still running RA marketing. Like we're running 2 very developed giant businesses at this point, and so we can't take every single month to do this. Right. So for us, we're taking the month of December off just because it makes sense. There's good quality there, and also another kind of note is we have seen in the past where, let's say if 100 advisors are marketing in December, 50 of them won't be. You're only competing now against 50.
Yeah.
So you can actually,
there's more opportunity for sure. I don't want to discourage people from running in December if you have a process to work the appointments after the fact, because you are going to have to run in a much tighter cadence.
Yep.
You have to, coordinate with your own schedule, with their schedule. You have to deal with the fact you are going to have a little bit higher drop off probably in those months. But to your point, the ocean becomes a little more blue when you're marketing in December. So from a competition standpoint, there's also the ad saturation problem that we have in December with, holiday traffic and all that stuff. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but if somebody wants to run in December, my encouragement is always, hey, run it, but have a process, because if you don't have a process that's really tight, after the fact, you're going to lose a lot of opportunity.
Right. There's plenty there. It's the same reason we run over the summer still. Yeah. Some advisors won't. We do. There's opportunity in that. So, but just have your process and be ready for January, to pick up back in January, which we just weren't ready for at the time. So, but overall, really, really, really solid event.
Solid event. And that venue continues to be probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Probably because we've gotten the most business out of that one. Maybe Zionsville's better, but
Zionsville's better. 100% better.
Yeah, it's better.
We closed 280 on this one. I said we one client, but we 280 from this, so that doesn't suck.
No, that was honestly we met after the event and we were like, you know what? It was, and we'll get into it in the next episode, but it was at this point I think we realized this is not just a test kitchen anymore. This is something we can actually develop into a real second business that will be productive and profitable and all that stuff. Then we can really make some hay with this. Yeah.
The new year, we are absolutely getting aggressive. We can see the vision now. We've got the momentum and the motivation. Yep. Now it's time to go.
Yeah. We saw the number of quality appointment opportunities, even though we hadn't closed as much business as we wanted to at that point. We're now at a total of 370, I think, at this point, because we got 90 something from the first one and 280 from this one.
Yep.
So we're on our way to being profitable.
Yeah, there's some money coming in. Right. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We feel like, okay, now we can start. Yep. Now we can start doubling down.
Yep. Yeah. It was a good event, and getting that first app submitted and funded before Christmas was a great little Christmas present for us.
It was a great Christmas present.
Didn't get issued until January 1st. So if the IRS is listening, we didn't have any taxes to pay in 2022.
Yeah, of course,
because they didn't get issued until 2023. But hey,
you kind of have some Christmassy shoes on today.
Yeah, when I got these, I got on a shock drop. which those of you that are sneakerheads will know what a shock drop is. But essentially what happens is you get like randomly notified, hey, these shoes are available to purchase, and they're not always going to be available to purchase.
Yep.
And it was like, I got a note. We were sitting right in these chairs. I don't remember what we were doing, but I'm like, oh, Richy, I got a shock drop. And so I did it, and you had to like complete this little task or whatever. And I got them, and I was like, oh, holy cow, I got them. I can't believe I got it. And then they came in the mail, and I looked at them. I was like, man, these are ugly. I don't like them at all.
They're unique, but I think that's why I like them.
Yeah.
They're a little different.
This is the third time I've worn them now. They're growing on me.
Yeah, and the colors are pretty tame. It's not like it's like wild.
Yeah. It's if you can see it on camera.
It's a lake trout, right?
Yeah, it's like rainbow trout. I don't know. It's a trout. It's trout colored whatever on the toe cap and the side panels.
Lake trout.
Yeah, and it's got some. I like the orange tongue, and they're fun. You've got the gorge greens on today. I love those. Those are, they're probably my second favorite colorway.
Mm-hmm. They're just
of
classic.
The ones. Yeah, they're clean. They look sharp. The leather's good quality. Those are good ones. I like those.
They're starting to get a little.
That's all right.
I know I might take the toe caps out in a minute.
Yeah,
just start wearing them. But
yeah, that particular leather quality, that like the Bordeaux that I have. The gorge greens, and there's a couple others that have that pebbled leather. I think it's the best daily driver one that there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are classic.
Yep, I like them.
All right, well that's it. That's episode 4.
Yeah,
December.
Yeah, installment number 4 in the seminar replay.
Yep, is over. December 2022 is over. We're going into 2023 in the next episode.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
See you there.